Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling how to become a textile specialized seller.
Yeah.
And get this, it's a legit career path with some serious earning potential. We're going to break it all down and get you ready to ace that interview. Of course, we've got RoleCatcher's amazing resources to guide us.
It's wild, right? Like, who knew that knowing your fabrics would be such a big deal? But seriously, retail's gotten so specialized, you got to know your stuff to stand out.
Totally. So let's jump right into some interview questions. And the first one is a classic. Can you tell me about your experience in the textile industry? Now, don't freak out if you haven't worked in a fabric store before.
Right. Experience comes in all forms. Think outside the box. Volunteered at a craft fair. Helped your kid with a school project that involved, like, tons of fabric.
Even just, like, being the family seamstress, hemming everyone's pants. Does that count?
Totally counts. It's all about showcasing that passion, Like, why are you drawn to textiles? What are those little threads that connect you to this world?
I love that. Okay, so you're saying even if it's not like formal retail experience, just show them you're genuinely into textiles.
Exactly. And don't forget about transferable skills from other jobs. Think about those customer service gigs, those organizational roles. They all have a place in the textile world.
Oh, that's so true. Like, maybe you were the master organizer of, like, family events. That translates perfectly to managing inventory or, like, keeping a shop floor running smoothly.
100%. And that ties right into service orientation, which RoleCatcher emphasizes big time. It's all about being one step ahead, anticipating what customers need before they even ask.
Ooh, I like that. Being a mind reader, but with fabric.
Exactly. Show them those organizational skills equal a smooth and awesome customer experience.
Okay, and here's where RoleCatcher really blows my mind. Like, their AI analyzes the specific company you're interviewing for.
It's amazing, right? It helps you tailor your answers to their vibe, their values. It's incredible. It's like having a personal interview coach. Speaking of knowing your stuff, let's move on to the next question. How do you stay up to date with industry trends and developments?
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah, time to geek out a little. Show them you're on top of the textile game.
Totally. You gotta prove you're passionate and in the know. Mentioning a specific trade publication is huge. Like, casually dropping, oh yeah, I was just reading in Textile World.
I'd love a good name drop, especially when it proves you're, like, actually reading industry journals. So what's trending in textile world these days? Give us a little sneak peek.
Well, lately it's been all about sustainability. Sustainable dyeing techniques, the rise of, like, smart fabrics. It's an exciting time.
So it's not just about knowing the latest fashion trends. It's about understanding what's happening behind the scenes, right?
Absolutely. It shows you're not just following trends, you're thinking critically about them. What are the environmental impacts? What are designers saying about these innovations?
It's like you're not just scrolling through Instagram. You're actually researching,
Yeah.
You're following those textile artists, getting inspired, but also, like, understanding the why behind the designs.
And that ties back to another RoleCatcher essential active listening. It's more than hearing, it's understanding.
Love it. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI feedback swoops in again, right? Like, it analyzes your answers, makes them even stronger.
Like having a writing coach for your interview. It'll even suggest using, like, industry-specific examples and lingo.
It's like having a secret weapon.
Hmm.
Okay, let's tackle a question that tends to make people nervous. How do you handle a difficult customer or situation?
Ooh, yeah, the dreaded customer service scenario. It's like a rite of passage in retail. Everyone's got a story.
Oh, don't even get me started. But instead of dreading it, let's reframe it. Let's make this your time to shine. Show them you can handle anything.
Yes, and RoleCatcher provides this awesome framework for answering it. First up, empathy. Start with, I understand this is frustrating.
Acknowledge their feelings, even if in your head you're like, oh boy, here we go again.
Precisely. It shows you're not dismissing them, you're hearing them. Then, bring in some company policy if it's applicable. Like, our policy is, however, to help with this specific situation.
That's smart. It shows you're not just winging it, you know the rules.
Yeah.
So what's the next move in this winning formula?
End on a positive note. Highlight the solution. Like, ultimately, we found a solution that made the customer happy.
Okay, so it's all about turning that frown upside down. Instead of dwelling on the drama, you're focusing on your problem-solving skills, your ability to keep your cool under pressure. That's what we call grace under fire. Pure gold in the retail world.
Absolutely. And that grace under fire, it links directly to another core skill RoleCatcher talks about, persuasion. But not in a pushy way, It's about guiding the customer to a solution while respecting those company guidelines.
It's a delicate dance. Speaking of finesse, How do you answer, how would you describe your personal style? Seems kind of random, but I bet it comes up more than you'd think, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a common one. And it's not about rattling off the latest trends. It's about showing you get fashion, you understand how to create a cohesive look, and how that personal style influences the way you sell.
Okay, so be ready to talk about your personal style, but connect it back to the job.
Exactly.
Show them you can use your unique style sense to help customers express their own through,
Yeah.
the power of fabric.
Now you're getting it. Okay, let's dive into another one that often throws people off. Are you ready for this? It's the classic sell me this challenge. Like they pluck something right off the shelf and say, go.
Oh man, talk about pressure. Like you're suddenly on live TV doing one of those home shopping segments.
Exactly. Just roll with it. Have fun. It's not about being a slick salesperson. It's about letting your textile knowledge shine. Let's say they point to, oh, I don't know, some amazing velvet.
Oh, velvet. So luxe.
Yeah.
It's just begging to be made into a gorgeous evening gown. Or maybe like a sharp blazer. Sorry, I'm already picturing it.
That enthusiasm, that's your secret weapon. Describe that velvet. Tell them about the drape, how it shimmers, how soft it is.
Make them want to touch it.
Yes, but don't stop there. Talk about velvet's history. It's like the fabric of royalty, right? You can even suggest a cool modern print that would look amazing with the texture.
So you're basically painting a picture with your words, drawing them into this world where velvet is king.
Exactly. It's that passion that makes you memorable. You're not just giving them facts about thread count. You're sharing your love for textiles.
I love that. It's like you're selling them a feeling, not just fabric. Okay, so we've covered some tricky questions, but don't forget about asking your own questions at the end of the interview. That's huge.
So important. It shows you're curious, engaged. Don't just stick to the usual, what are the next steps? Try something like, what are some of the biggest challenges, but also like the most rewarding parts of this role?
Ooh, that's so much better. It shows you're genuinely interested, not just trying to check a box.
Right. You come off as thoughtful. Another good one is, what opportunities are there for growth and development within the company?
Oh, that's good. I'm taking notes. It shows you're thinking long-term, you're invested in a textile career, not just a job.
Exactly. Okay, let's switch gears for a sec and talk career trajectory. One thing that caught my eye in RoleCatcher's Guide was the earning potential. Like, you can actually make a good living as a textile specialized seller.
See, I think there's this idea that retail jobs aren't like real careers, but this proves them wrong.
Totally. Of course, salary always depends on experience, location, all that. But the potential is there to earn a really good income.
Okay, so how does someone actually move up in this industry? RoleCatcher mentions different levels. Like you start as a textile sales assistant, right?
Yeah.
But then there's like associate, even store manager. What does that climb look like?
So typically you'd start as that sales assistant, right? You're focused on customers, helping with sales, getting to know the ropes, learning all the inventory, all that.
Right, like mastering the art of folding fabric.
It's an art form. Then, as you get more experience, you move up to textile sales associate. More responsibility, like answering customer questions about specific fabrics, maybe you help with displays, visual merchandising, they call it.
So you're not just selling fabric, you're kind of like a textile guru.
I love that. And from there, you might become a supervisor. You're managing a team of associates, handling inventory, making sure everything runs smoothly.
You're like the conductor of the textile orchestra.
Perfect analogy. And if you're passionate about leadership, you have a deep understanding of the business side, you could become store manager, responsible for the whole shebang.
Wow, so there's a whole career path laid out. That's not just a job, it's a journey.
Right. And RoleCatcher actually has examples of real people who've done this, gone from sales assistant to store manager and beyond. Pretty inspiring, right?
It proves it's possible. Like that saying, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Right on.
Though, let's be honest, every job has its challenges.
Yeah.
What are some of the, potential downsides to working in textile retail? RoleCatcher's Guide mentioned a few.
Yeah, it's always good to have a realistic view. One thing they mentioned is the potential for, like, seasonal ups and downs.
So like around the holidays, it's crazy busy,
Yeah.
but then it might slow down other times of the year.
Exactly. So, maybe you're someone who likes to freelance or has a side hustle. It's good to be prepared for those ebbs and flows.
That makes sense. Like you could offer alterations on the side or teach sewing classes.
There you go. Being adaptable is key. And speaking of, another thing they mentioned is that it can be pretty physically demanding.
Oh, right. You're on your feet all day, hauling bolts of fabric around.
Exactly. It's not just about having a good eye for color and design. You gotta be strong.
No kidding. It's like a workout, but with textiles.
Right. And while we're being real, let's talk starting salaries. Like the earning potential is there, but you're probably not going to be rolling in dough right off the bat.
Yeah, that's true for most jobs, though. You got to pay your dues, prove your worth. But even starting out, it seems like a job where you can be creative and connect with people who share your passion.
Totally. And those connections are gold. Networking with fellow textile lovers, going to industry events, even just chatting up customers about their projects, it all matters.
It's like building your own little textile community.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we wrap up this deep dive, let's recap those interview power moves. What are the top 3 things our listeners should remember?
Number 1, let that textile passion shine. Even if your background isn't all about fabric stores, find ways to show them you're genuinely into this world.
Love it. What else?
Be ready to talk trends. Prove you know what's happening in the textile world, what's new and exciting. Mentioning those industry publications, following the right people online, it all makes a difference.
It shows you're in the loop. Okay, last but not least.
Don't be afraid to ask those thoughtful questions at the end of the interview. It shows you're not just there for a job, you're thinking about your future, your career.
It shows you're invested. And on that note, why not check out RoleCatcher? They've got so many resources to help you prepare, from practice questions to that amazing AI feedback. They've got your back. Good luck out there, everyone. We're rooting for you.